How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs beat writer on SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping in today as we will continue on our expectations. And when I say our, I mean mine. My expectations going forward for select groups, players, and personnel for the 2025 NFL campaign for the Kansas City Chiefs. We have touched on Patrick Mahomes' expectations, Travis Kelce, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, Josh Simmons. Yesterday, we discussed about the third rounder from the 2025 NFL draft for the Kansas City Chiefs being Ashton Gillotte and his expectations. If you missed that, go check it out while you've got the time. Today, we are going to continue on with the expectations, the predictions, so to say, of what to kind of see the first season or in the 2025 season, depending on what area or how much experience these players have. For today's episode, we are going to touch on the Kansas City Chiefs' 7th round draft pick from the 2025 NFL draft out of SMU, Brashard Smith. Now, Smith was, as I just stated, the 7th rounder that the Chiefs selected. He's a guy that has a higher ceiling than projected at, and I think that the Chiefs absolutely nailed this offseason addition. He's going to add a lot to the Kansas City offense in multiple ways. Now, as you might know, and if you don't, here's a reiteration of it. Brashard Smith, throughout his collegiate years, he's a former wide receiver turned into a running back. Now, through his first 3 years and at the collegiate level with Miami, he was primarily used as a wide receiver. He did have some rushing yards here and there, but as soon as he went to SMU for his final season at the collegiate level, he went off as a running back. They shifted him from being a wide receiver into utilizing his speed and giving him those carries, and he did nothing but succeed with over 1,300 rushing yards last season with SMU. He also was able to bring in over 300 receiving yards. Both are collegiate career highs. Just screams a player that the Kansas City Chiefs would love to have on the roster. So with that being said, let's touch on the expectations. Now, we've touched on the running back room before. The running back room is compiled up of Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell, Carson Steele, among others. And now you got Brashard Smith. Now, it might be more difficult for Brashard to kind of slide into a top running back option for Kansas City right away. And I say that just because Isaiah Pacheco, he's going to try his best, not only for the seniority on the team, but he wants to become the notable running back in Kansas City. There's also Kareem Hunt. He's also going to want to make the most out of his carries and opportunities because he himself is in a 1-year contract with Kansas City, as well as Elijah Mitchell. Now, Mitchell hasn't played since the 2023 campaign, but Brett Veach has talked very highly about Mitchell and how he can bring a lot of things to the running back room. Just those three in themselves have more experience than Brashard Smith, so it might be difficult, especially with the amount of like the determination that the three of them have they all want to make an impact. Because think about it, if they're all on their 1-year deal, Isaiah Pacheco's on the last leg of his rookie contract, as well as those two veterans signing 1-year deals. They're going to need to have impressive enough seasons to earn themselves a spot on a roster next season, whether that's in Kansas City or not. So I don't fully expect Brashard Smith to get a ton of touches at the running back in the running back game until later in the season. But that being said, there's always, that's in a perfect world. Injuries happen. I think Brashard Smith is showing enough throughout his offseason trend to getting a spot on this roster that he's going to be one of the guys that is molded around this offense. Primarily, though, it has to be said that since the Kansas City Chiefs are looking for a punt returner, kick returner, anything like that, I fully believe in myself that I think that Brashard Smith is going to be getting a lot of opportunities in that role. As mentioned earlier in the earlier in the month of June, Xavier Worthy is another option to be used in punt return roles. But Smith has shown that he can be a reliable kick returner, so much so that in his 3 seasons with Miami, he collected 975 kick return yards, as well as when he was as when he was with SMU, he had 320 kick return yards. So he's a guy that's going to be able to use his speed as an asset. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to quickly realize what kind of Swiss Army knife like player they have in Brashard Smith. This guy is turned into a running back from being a wide receiver. His speed works for the exactly what the Kansas City Chiefs are trying to achieve. There are a ton of guys that would love to have the kind of versatility that Brashard Smith has. So much so that if he does earn himself a spot on this roster, I'm fully expecting him to be that primary returner. And I say primary because, as you know, I've already touched on that, the Xavier Worthy situation. But since the Chiefs weren't so explosive in the wide receiving game last season, I believe that they're going to want to utilize Xavier Worthy more on the wide receiving end of the football than in returns. While I understand the asset that he is added to both, me personally, I see it as an opportunity for the likes of Jalen Royals as well as Brashard Smith to kind of ease their way into the National Football League, kind of learn the ropes of what it means to have the winning culture in Kansas City and, just adjust. It is a tough adjustment, whether players tell you or not. It's got to be a tough adjustment going from the collegiate level to the professional level. Maybe not as much now, given the amount of time that all these players do play in college before they do make it to the NFL. But there are a bunch of opportunities for Brashard Smith to be effective in the Kansas City roster. So I would expect him to, while if there is an injury, unless he shows more or a struggling player in the running back room, I could see him sliding in for a few carries. If he is able to capitalize on those opportunities that are given, I can definitely see him climbing the ranks in that running back room. But I wouldn't put it past his benchmark, his beginning, his floor, so to say, might begin in the returning aspect. While you could use him for sneak plays as well on the offense, say he is there as the primary running back. We've seen Patrick Mahomes like to get rid of the ball and throw it to his running back sometimes rather than just handing it off. He's an asset for that. Like I said, he's got the the hand-eye coordination of a wide receiver and the speed threat as a running back. That being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out that ticker down below, or if you are listening, follow me at X at Dom Minchella, DOMMINCHELLA, for all your Kansas City Chiefs news updates. I post and repost every single day. You're not going to want to miss it. As well as follow us over at KC Chiefs on SI. All of our stories get posted there, and you're not going to want to miss any coverage as we get closer and closer to the 2025 NFL campaign. As always, if you are watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the sports videos on SI, where multiple videos get published every single day, keeping you informed about what's happening throughout the NFL offseason, throughout the league. That being said, though, Chiefs Kingdom, be kind to one another, and I'll see you tomorrow.